Hi, I'm Dave Yaden, and you're watching Red Booth.
Hi, welcome to the Red Booth Show. I'm Kimberly. On tonight's episode, I bring you Dave Yaden. He's a musician as well as a composer and songwriter, and he talks about some of the artists that he's worked with as well as some of the Grammys that he's won and his latest EP. So come and join us. So hi Dave, how's it going?
Oh, it's going very, very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Well, I've been looking over all of your work, and I know you've done a lot of different styles of music over the years, and you've worked with a lot of different artists. One of the most exciting things is that you have won some Grammys.
That was very exciting. I was super excited about that when it happened.
Yeah, and it wasn't just one Grammy now, it was 4 Grammys.
4, yeah.
So can you explain, like, what was the breakdown? Like, that one was for this, one was in terms of, like, you were doing composing, or you're doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was also nominated for another one a year and a half ago, which is really funny to be nominated for one because then people are like, oh, you didn't win? So it's always like somehow you're nominated for a Grammy, but it always ends up being a loss in conversation.
They're like,
so I was nominated for a Grammy for an album. It was for best. It was like an instrumental album. It's with Mindy Aber, who's a sax player, amazing sax player.
This was the one that that happened like a year ago, right?
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
And then the Grammys before that were for album of the. There's 2 Grammys that don't. I think is album of the year and record of the year, because this is now 4 years ago, so now I don't know what they say. But I'm always confused about. Because they both seem to mean the same thing. But
album of the year and record of the year?
Yes, yeah, and there's a song of the year.
Okay.
That's
a pretty big deal. And you actually got the Grammys for that one.
You know, the funny thing is about them is that really at the end of the day, and I know this especially having worked with so many artists over the years, and there's brilliant artists out there, and so it's somehow like I stumbled into that club. And really, it's good for like continuing to work, but it doesn't mean that I actually wrote the best song of the year, in my opinion. You know, I don't, or whatever the songs were. One of them was for song of the year, but I don't know. I try to keep a level head about it because it's, you know, whatever. It's a club, and that club gets together and decides on songs. And at the end of the day, really, the songs that win are the songs that made the most money. Not the songs. It's not a judgment on like what was truly like the best artistry, you know. I mean, it has a little bit to do with that, but I don't feel like I wrote the best song a couple of years ago. There was no song that was better than the one that I wrote. So. Well,
that's nice to see that you're so humble about it, but it's still a very, very big accomplishment.
It was wonderful. It's a dream come true, and like a. But you know what? Actually, I was going to say it was a mountaintop experience, but honestly, I got to the top of that mountain and I was like, well, this is nowhere close to as high as I thought it was going to be. And it looks like I have a lot more climbing to do. So
now what? So what do you have your eyes on now?
What I have my eyes on now is really actually, I mean, what would mean the most, I think, to me would be not even another Grammy for myself as an artist or for this album that I'm putting out, but just really to get out there. And the whole point is my whole point always, forever, since I was a kid, when I played music, is I just want to make people feel like how I feel when I hear a song that lifts my spirit. You know? Like if I can have that honor and that privilege of doing that for somebody else, and all the experiences for me are collected in my heart of every time that someone has come up to me and said, like, dude, that changed me, or that opened me up tonight, or that what you did tonight like changed my life, or that's so great, or where can I find that music, that kind of thing is like, oh wow, I actually did, like, I made somebody feel the way that I feel when I listen to something that I consider to be great, or well, there you go.
That's really cool. Well, that's really what it's all about. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know there's a lot of business and, how do you get the albums out there and how do people hear about it and all that sort of thing. But if the song doesn't move people, and I know these songs that you write do, then they wouldn't be getting so much traction. And I know you've worked with a lot of other artists too, like Pierce the Veil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pierce the Veil. There's a great story, actually. Pierce the Veil has no Grammys, or they actually just got their first song on the radio, but they've been touring for, oh my gosh, I think 8 years now. And this was their fourth? It's their fourth or fifth studio release. But they took their music straight to the people, and I mean, they were selling hundreds of thousands of copies years ago, before anybody. I mean, they just toured, man. They were headlining Warped Tour I think 4 years ago.
That's amazing.
So a lot of people that only listened to the radio didn't know who they were, but the scene kids all knew who they were.
Yeah, all the kids did. It was on social media being shared, and then they got their shirts were in Hot Topic.
Yeah, their shirts are in Hot Topic.
Yeah, I know.
For years, their shirts have been in Hot Topic.
They've been there for a while. It's kind of funny. Anyways, on that note, we have to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Dave Yaden.
I really wanted to put a deck on my house.
The floor was creaking, and there were cracks in the wall.
I had them put in walls in my basement.
Well, the whole thing was done on time, on budget, and not a day of work was missed.
Alpha Structural is a top-rate company. I'd recommend them to anybody.
If you live in a hillside home and gravity is pulling you towards the edge of the cliff, I recommend you call Alpha.
It was a real pleasure to work with Alpha.
And welcome back to the Red Booth Show, guys. We're here with musician Dave Yaden. How's it going, Dave?
It's going even better than it was 5 minutes ago.
Well, that's pretty awesome. That's what I like to hear. So you do a lot of writing for musicians, but you also do your own albums. You have a new EP coming out, right?
Yes, I did. It did come out. It came out a few months ago, and it was. So I've done a lot of writing for musicians and a lot of track writing, where I write pop tracks and hip hop tracks, and I really, really love.
You write hip hop tracks?
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of songs have you written hip hop tracks for?
I mean, the hip hop stuff that I've done has been
Dre and no, I'm just kidding.
Well, oh my gosh, I wish. No. The hip hop stuff that I've been has been in big TV shows.
Okay.
The biggest TV show that I had a hip hop song in was Breaking Bad, but it's but it's just a background track,
Okay.
So it's they, for every TV show and movie and everything, there's a lot of background music that happens at different points.
They go into a bar and there's a song playing kind of a thing? Or?
Exactly.
Okay.
And depending on, what the budget is for a TV show, you go into a bar and it either sounds like Lynyrd Skynyrd or it's Lynyrd Skynyrd, depending on
how much they could afford.
Yeah. You're either going to pay Lynyrd Skynyrd or Dre. You're either going to pay if you want the Chronic playing back there, or a song off the Chronic, then that's probably going to cost you a little more money than calling Dave Yaden and having him write something that sounds like something off of the Chronic. But that kind of thing has been going on forever, and really so. But some of those, but you still. If I get a phone call for something like that, I'm still going into my studio and writing something original. And so what's happened is sometimes you write them, sometimes you pitch them and they don't happen, and you have this track that maybe if I love it, then I want to do something with it. And I've never done anything with any of them ever. And I also play out live a lot. I'm known as a virtuosic piano player, keyboard player. So I've never put out an album having anything to do with that, which is silly because it's something I've always done. So this is what I just did.
That's right. Yeah. That's what your new album. Now, what's the name of your new album EP?
It's called Move.
Move.
Yeah, because hopefully that's exactly what it's going to make you want to do.
I think that's very appropriate also because I saw your new music video, which I want to share with everybody. And you have a cool featured dancer in that too.
I do. We got Mari Kota. She was one of the actresses in all those Step Up movies.
Nice.
And she's amazing, and
Yeah.
came out and like improvised an incredible amount of like different styles, hip hop dancing, and oh my gosh, it was amazing.
And
So
it was-
we went out into the desert and shot it, and did it with Jaakko Maninen, who has, man, he just directed a video with Kylie Minogue and Nervo.
Wow.
And yeah, that's in the millions of plays, obviously, and. He just did one with Shaggy,
That's amazing.
which also he also Jaakko is. I've become friends with him over the years, so now he puts me in all of his music videos. So I am actually playing bass in Shaggy's new music video.
Nice. That's awesome.
I'm playing upright bass. I'm in a video that just came out. Oh, I think 2 weeks ago. I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let's show everybody your new music video. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's funky.
Let's do it.
And you're getting down and crazy on the keyboard.
Yeah.
So check it out, guys. Here it is. Well, awesome. So how do people go and get your new song and your new EP?
Thankfully, finding me is pretty easy. It's just Dave Yaden, as long as you can spell Dave Yaden, which is just spelled how it sounds, and you can everything. All my social media is /Dave Yaden. So
Cool.
I'm on iTunes and Instagram and all the relevant media.
So go and check it out on iTunes and get his new EP, and people can go to your website as well.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy, I guess.
Yeah, it's easy. It's all on the internet. It's all on your phone nowadays. It's all on this tiny screen that when you hit and you play music on a speaker that's like the 1/10 of a size of a dime, and that's how we think music needs to sound nowadays.
A little sarcasm there.
Oh my God! It's coming back. What's funny is that people still, the one place that people still enjoy like music close to how it sounded in the studio is in their car.
Because of the surround and everything.
Yeah, well, because it's actually like speakers that are bigger than like
An
the
iPhone.
1/10 of the size of a dime.
Yeah.
You know, like, but it is amazing. I refuse to listen to music on phones. Actually, when someone says like, "Oh, I got this great thing, you got to hear this," I'm like, "No, do you have a pair of headphones? If not, like, just send it to me. I'll listen to it later."
Yeah.
Which
Well,
I
it does
try.
sort of kill the experience, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And also, like, if you're a bass player, you just never get to hear anything anymore. Because there is no bass, and those speakers aren't big enough for that frequency, so you just
That's
you just
true.
don't hear it.
And that's a bummer.
People listen to music on their phones though all the time. I understand. I mean, you're gonna listen to it no matter. You're gonna listen to. I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But you know, when I like it, they're coming out with all the like pods and stuff.
Well, you know, advice from a musician here is to go and get your speakers and actually listen to the songs with it all set up with some bass.
Carry some headphones around or something.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And on that note, we have to take another quick break, but we will be right back with Dave Yaden. And welcome back to the Red Booth Show. We are here with Dave Yaden. How's it going?
It's going so well.
Good. Better and better, right?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. There's something about this show. Something about this booth.
This booth is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy to have you here, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about your history in music and how you sort of got started as a musician.
I don't know. There was a piano in my house, and so I can't ever remember not playing it. It was just something that I was drawn to. My mom played it, so it was something I'm sure as a kid was very natural. It's how it is with my son now, because I play the piano all the time, so does he.
That's right. You have a super cute son.
Yes.
And what is his name?
His name's Wolfgang.
Wolfgang.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just trying to give him a good start. Tried to give him a cool name. Yeah, so that's how I got started, and then, I really, really loved playing, and then really at the end of the day, I guess part of the reason why I decided to try to make money doing it was that it seemed like most people liked it when I played, so.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah, so
when
that's
you played piano, it was the main starting thing was piano, right?
Piano was the main thing, yeah. My dad played the guitar, but I was never really drawn to it because I think you could make more noise with the piano, and it's a more dynamic instrument. Although now, if you play the piano, you gotta... Guitars are everywhere. Piano, you gotta wait for one to show up. You gotta be somewhere where there is one.
Yeah, especially the grand pianos.
Exactly, yeah.
My grandfather used to actually be a piano teacher, and he had a whole room filled with grand pianos in his house.
Oh my gosh.
In St. Louis, and I remember running around, and my dad played piano, and so we had pianos around us, and I could see why they would be inspiring to you.
Oh yeah, actually now to this day, it's actually really hard for me to walk into a room with a piano in it and not just go play.
Right.
It's actually it is no matter what, when I walk into a room, if there's a piano there, I would rather be playing it than doing anything else.
I can imagine.
So it's something where I have to turn so that I'm not looking at it because it's calling to me.
That's right. You're drawn to it.
Dave, come on over here. Touch me.
Well, so then after that, you started to do composing for other people. Did you learn old school way of doing all the music writing and everything, or did you go to school? Did you go to music school?
No, I did not go to music school. And it always actually, it was never really, I write so much music that some people started to ask if they could use it. So it was never really I never really wanted to or dreamt about writing music for other people. I just always really wanted to write music, and I've ended up writing music for other people in addition to writing it for myself. But the way nowadays that you write, and for most of the time with pop music, everybody memorizes it. You record it, and,
right.
And now that
so you don't have to do music notes the whole
correct.
Sheets.
Well, because most pop musicians can't read notes, so if I notated it, a lot of people wouldn't be able to read it anyway. If I notated it and handed it to Britney Spears, I'm fairly certain she doesn't know how to read music.
That's probably
but
true.
That's not, I'm not talking shit because I don't know how to read music either. So, and there I was talking shit about iPhones and everybody listening to music on their iPhones. A brilliant thing about having the iPhone, of course, is that anytime that I have an idea, I used to carry around a recorder, a tape recorder,
one of those
when I was
little
younger.
with the tiny tapes.
And then after that, there was the digital recorders, because still your phone didn't do it; they hadn't combined it.
Right.
So now it's really nice to just hit record on the iPhone and
totally
for ideas. And actually, I have a funny story about that because Mindy Abair and I wrote a song that ended up being actually #1 for 2 weeks on jazz radio.
Wow!
This was the one that was nominated for a Grammy a year and a half ago. She played for her label head at Concord the recording of she and I having just written it on her saxophone and piano from her iPhone.
From the iPhone?
Playing it, and she was like, "Don't you think this is a good song?" And she was like, Yeah, they really liked it. I played it for them. I was like, "What did you play for them?" We didn't record anything.
Oh,
she was
no.
like, just when you and I did the idea. Remember?
On the
I was
iPhone.
like, "You played that for the label head? They're never going to go for it." But actually, they went for it. So I was wrong. Yeah.
You know what? That's actually true. A lot of people do record their songs on the little, note taker.
Yeah.
You just record it and hey, there you go.
Anyway.
Well, what sort of advice do you have for other people that might want to get into writing songs, or who might be writing songs already and want to get artists to check out their music?
I think that you just have to write. You have to write. I think that a lot of times there's a lot of people. Generally, I find that when you write a bunch of songs and you write them and record them and have a recording that you like, that those other things follow. But
Other people like them.
a lot of people talk about wanting to do that, but they actually haven't written songs yet,
Interesting.
or they have like 3 or 4.
Right.
And it's like, nah, man, you need like 60, because maybe 5 or 10 of those will be really, really good.
That's really interesting. You said that. I happen to have 60 songs in my phone that I have made up.
There you go. Well, it's possible 5 or 10 are really
that's like
good.
super crazy. Maybe like 2 of them are good. We'll see how.
Yeah,
we'll see the
that's
percentage.
how it is.
Yeah.
You know, that's the question. You know, and that's really the truth with anything and with any art. I think, you know, if you say, well, I want to be a painter, how do I get my paintings out there? Well, you know, why don't we talk about that after you paint a bunch of shit?
Yeah.
You know, then.
All right, that's good. It's true. You got to just start doing it, right?
Yeah. That's the most important part. That like the flowing of like that translation of spirit and heart into this like physical medium. That's the most important part. That because that thing, whatever it is, a song, a piece of acting, a piece of visual art, that thing, the spirit of that thing, that is the energy that will take you to the next level. Is the expression and what it causes in terms of how people react to it. That's the thing that's going to bring you to the next level. So until you have that, whatever it is, it's in my opinion not much use like thinking about like.
I get it. Yeah.
How am I
Ooh,
going
a
to
little
get
bit of goosebumps there. So yeah, if you make it, then it will. Like if you make the art, then
Yeah,
and it
if
communicates.
you build it, they will come.
Right. I was gonna say that, but I was like trying
there's
to do.
a reason that like even though that comes from a movie.
Yes.
What's that? Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. Yes.
Yeah. Even though there's a reason that particular phrase transcends that movie.
Because it's so true.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
true
well-
in many cases.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting another signal here. We have to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with the Red Booth Show.
I really wanted to put a deck on my house.
The floor was creaking, and there were cracks in the wall.
I had them put in walls in my basement.
Well, the whole thing was done on time, on budget, and not a day of work was missed.
Alpha Structural is a top-rate company. I'd recommend them to anybody.
If you live in a hillside home and gravity is pulling you towards the edge of the cliff, I recommend you call Alpha.
It was a real pleasure to work with Alpha.
All right, and we are here with musician Dave Yaden on the Red Booth Show. Thanks for joining us. So it's been really cool having you here to tell us a bit about you and about some of your recent projects. I wanted to get more of your sort of like future plan of what you're doing. I know you have your EP that has already come out, and now what are you working on next?
I'm working on a live in studio version of some of those songs, and then a bunch of other songs that I've written, and then and part of that is coming out of a night that I do now in Hollywood every Tuesday at this club called Buttered Up in Hollywood. I do a showcase of half of the music. Well, half of the showcase is the instrumental songs that I've written, and some other. And then I also feature singers that I've been working with, and it's usually lately I've been working with India Carney from The Voice, and
That's right. You work with a bunch of these shows, right?
yeah, from singers from the. It's always somebody from The Voice or from X Factor or from American Idol. We just had Casey Abrams from American Idol.
That's amazing. Yeah. So you write the songs for some of these guys to
We get
play?
together and write, yeah. And I'm always writing music, and then, when you experience an inspiring character or an inspiring voice, like India Carney, her voice is very inspiring to me. So right now I'm working on some stuff with her, and she and I are working together on a couple things. And so that's coming up, and then
That's really exciting.
Yeah,
People are
yeah.
gonna go and check that out.
Yeah, every Tuesday in Hollywood.
Well, do you have you have a manager, I know that, but do you also have like an agent that books you for all of this musical work too, and your acting?
I do. Well, I work with ICM, and then so yes, I do. I do have an agent that books a lot of these shows, and I book shows, and then I get calls for shows. I'm actually today I do I got a call to come do. I'm really excited actually. Today I'm doing a fundraiser for Build On, which is a huge program, worldwide program that builds schools.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they're sending some people to Nepal to build a school.
Oh, wow.
And Seth Rogen donated some stuff to it. The Muhammad Ali Foundation did. Ronda Rousey did. And Serena Williams all donated stuff to silent auction at this event that I'm playing tonight.
That's really cool.
So that was relevant to whatever we were talking about. I can't remember.
Well, I think we were talking about having an agent because, I mean, I'm curious as a musician, you have to get somebody to help you book those gigs or whatever.
I mean, you like, I don't know. It's always not like to have a big team is good if the team is working, but if not, it's not. I don't know. The most famous person that doesn't have an agent is Bill Murray. I don't know if you know this. But
really?
Yeah. You have to call him and
directly
leave a message. Yeah.
That's cool.
This is like I've heard this from multiple people. Maybe I'm wrong, and that's just a but
rumor?
I actually know that like for example, Jay Leno talks a lot about that he doesn't have an agent or a manager. Like you have to,
Clint
if you want to work
Eastwood,
with Jay, you got to call Jay.
You just got to call him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Clint Eastwood, I think, had only a manager for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But as a musician, especially if you're getting songs on like television, on TV shows, or if you're selling your rights and getting, royalties and things like that.
Yeah, I do work with a lot of companies like that. I work with Opus One, who's an awesome company that has placed my music, and I've done voiceovers for and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, there has developed around me a fairly large team, but you still have to you're still the one. Like if you're not moving and shaking, then like your team is like, well, I mean, what? Who are you?
Yeah.
So it's still got to come from you, So and also you don't want to have an agent or a manager if they're not right and not excited about you. And also you can never ask anyone to be as excited about you as you are. These are things that I've had to learn.
That makes sense. Well, I'm really glad that you came on the show today, and
I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for telling us all about your awesome story, and I'm sure that we're going to see more of your works, and we can tune into The Voice or to all these other shows, what was it, American Idol? And
X Factor.
X Factor.
Yeah.
No big deal,
Whatever.
They just call him up and he just comes by. So it's pretty awesome. And, so go out and check out his stuff and check out his new EP as well. And keep posted on his social media. I think that'll be pretty cool. I'll put some little links here for you guys so it's easy. And that's right. And I guess that's all. So we're out of time. I'm sorry we can't keep talking.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I got to go get some more coffee.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.